day. And this is what I was anxious to show you. Let me read the following. Micah seems to interpret the pillars, Jachin he will establish, and Boaz in strength in Micah 4, where it says, Micah 4 verse 1, But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. And Micah 5 where it says, Micah 5 verse 4, And he shall stand and feed in strength of the Lord, in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of the name of the Lord his God, and they shall abide, for now shall he be great unto the ends of the earth. Where stand is the root word for pillar in Hebrew, and Boaz means in strength. So did you notice that here? And he shall stand and feed in the strength of the Lord. The actual word stand is in Hebrew, it's the same word used for pillar. And in strength is actually Boaz. Okay, now let's go on to the following. As I looked, Jachin is explained and associated with Micah 4, whereas Boaz is in Micah 5 below. Jachin comes from Kun, H 3559, which means he will establish. And the root name of Jachin is actually a Kaf word and fits well with the 11th book, because Kaf is the 11th letter, and Solomon's kingdom was established at peace with the surrounding nations, that the right time to build the temple of God. Sorry, let me reread this. The surrounding nations and the right time to build the temple as God promised to his father David. David was known to be a man of war, and God said that the temple of God won't be built at the time of David his father, but Solomon did build it. And establish is the kun word in Hebrew, and the meaning is to be firm, be stable, be established, and so on. So I bring to attention 1 Kings 2, verse 12, 24, 45, 46. Then sat Solomon upon the throne of David his father, and his kingdom was established, kun, greatly. Now therefore, as the Lord liveth, which hath established me, kun, and set me up on the throne of David my father, and who hath made me an house as he promised, Adonijah shall be put to death this day. And the King Solomon shall be blessed, and the throne of David shall be established, kun, before the Lord forever. So the king commanded Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, which went out and fell upon him, that he died, and the kingdom was established, kun, in the hand of Solomon. So we go to 1 Kings 5, verse 18. And Solomon's builders and Hiram's builders did hew them, and the stone squarers, and they prepared kun, timber, and stones to build the house. And in 1 Kings chapter 6, verse 1, and the oracle he prepared, kun, in the house within, to set there the ark of the covenant of the Lord. And this is 1 Kings chapter 7, verse 21. And he set up the pillars in the porch of the temple, and he set up the right pillar and called the name thereof Jachin or Yakin, H3199 in the concordance. And he set up the left pillar and called the name thereof Boaz. And upon the top of the pillars was lily work, so that the work of the pillars finished. I will come back to the Hebrew word pillar and uh, the Hebrew word for standing in a few seconds. Let me make another point that here, let me read this. When David expressed his desire and interest to build the temple of God, God refused because he had been at war and was a man of war. But in his son's Solomon's days, there was peace with the surrounding nations. So Solomon in Hebrew is exactly this. H8010 in the concordance. Shalomo, which equals to peace, means peace. And Micah 5, verse 5, it says, and is referring to the Messiah, of course, and Solomon is a type of the Messiah. So it says, and this man shall be the peace when the Assyrian shall come into our land. And when he shall tread in our palaces, then shall we raise against him 7 shepherds and 8 principal men. I don't really understand this passage yet, but I do know that this is referring to the Messiah. So, as I wrote, this is referring to the Messiah, Jesus Christ, when he comes to reign in his kingdom. In 1 Kings 2, now the days of David drew nigh that he should die, and he charged Solomon, his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth, be thou strong therefore, and shew thyself a man. So he's asking Solomon to fulfill the shadow of Jesus Christ, and this man shall be the peace. So the king commanded Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, which went out and fell upon him, that he died, and the kingdom was established in the hand of Solomon. Don't forget that Shemaiah was actually provoking a conflict in 2 Samuel. I believe it was somewhere between chapter 21 and chapter 24. Pillar in Hebrew is H5982 in the concordance, which spells out Amud, from Amad, H5975, which means to stand. So pillar is referring to either pillar or column. To stand, Amad, to stand, remain, endure, take one stand. So, as I wrote, pillar occurs 21 times in 13 verses in 1 Kings. And let me bring to your attention, it was written in Micah 5, verse 4, and he shall stand and feed in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of the name of the Lord his God, and they shall abide, for now shall he be great unto the ends of the earth. And stand is H5975 Amad, as I mentioned before, And in 1 Kings 7, here are the following passages that pillar appears. Amud. Verse 2, 3, 6, 15, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 41, 42, and that's it. Smiting. Smiting is done by the palm of the hand, which is represented by the 11th letter kaf, which is significant on the 11th spoke. In 1 Kings, a prophet asked to be smitten. 1 Kings 20. And a certain man of the sons of the prophets said unto his neighbor in the word of the Lord, Smite me, I pray thee. And the man refused to smite him. Then said he unto him, Because thou hast not obeyed the voice of the Lord, behold, as soon as thou art departed from me, a lion shall slay thee. And as soon as he was departed from him, a lion found him and slew him. Then he found another man and said, Smite me, I pray thee. And the man smote him, so that in smiting he wounded him. So the prophet departed and waited for the king by the way, and disguised himself with ashes upon his face. At first glance, I would look at the man who refused to smite him by thinking that this is not fair. Why would someone who refused to smite, to slap a prophet, that God would send a lion against him and slay him? But don't forget that Israel at that time, the northern kingdom of Israel at the time of Ahab, had departed from the Lord, and the prophet even said, he said unto his neighbor in the word of the Lord, Smite me. He's not saying just hit me, but he's saying God says hit me, and it's strange. I know it is strange, but since God said so, he should have done it. But because the guy didn't believe in God, he refused to hit him, smite him, and for that reason God slew him. But the second man must have heard what happened to the first one, that whatever the prophet said in the name of the Lord, that a lion would slay him, it actually happened. So the second man took his precaution and he did smite him. He did obey the word of the Lord.